Good afternoon. My name is Ashanti White, and I welcome you to my presentation of A Bit Complicated, Selecting an ILS for a Consortium of College Libraries. This is in consideration of my Computer-Related Technologies for Information Management course. Let us begin with the basics. An integrated library system, or an ILS, is a resource planning system used by libraries to track items owned, orders made, bills paid, and patrons who have borrowed materials. Most ILS systems separate software functions into discrete programs called modules, each of them integrated with a unified interface. Examples of modules might include acquisitions, which include the ordering, receiving, and invoicing of materials; cataloging, which deals with the classifying and indexing of materials; circulation, which deals with the lending and returning of materials by patrons; serials, which is the tracking of magazine and newspaper holdings; and the most important, OPAC, which is the public interface for users. Now, over the course of this semester, I have become extremely interested in ILS, be it proprietary, open source, whether it's for a branch of library systems, or whether it's for a small individual college library. And I decided that I wanted to focus on the ILS needs of a small college library, and my focus was turned to Guilford College. Now, Guilford College is a private, four-year liberal arts college located in Greensboro, North Carolina. The student body is of about 3,624 students, and over two-thirds of those students are enrolled full-time. Guilford College is supported by Hedge Library. Hedge Library has a collection which includes 240,000 books, periodicals, and non-print media. It includes the Friends Center at Guilford College, the Learning Commons, and the 9-room Guilford College of Art Gallery, so they have quite a few needs that they have to address. The Friends Historical Collection, I'd like to note, is a comprehensive research collection of materials pertaining to Religious Society of Friends, or Quakers. This collection includes more than 600 manuscript books of Carolina Quaker records, personal papers, and genealogical resources dating from 1680. Now, my approach for this project was to interview the systems librarian, or IT manager, Drew McNaughton, about the university's ILS needs. I also wanted to interview the Hedge Library Director, Leah Dunn, who is very involved in the technological necessities of the library. During the course of my interview, I learned that Hedge Library does not operate alone. It's part of a consortium called NC PALS. Now, NC PALS is an academic library consortium in the Piedmont area of North Carolina, which exists to support member students and faculty in their academic endeavors by enhancing library, information, and instructional resources and services. Now, the schools that are involved in NC PALS are Davidson College, Bennett College, Salem College, and of course, Guilford College. The current ILS used by NC PALS is Unicorn GL 3.1. It's a proprietary ILS system created by Circe Dynix. It is built on the same software architecture employed by Oracle databases and is built entirely on library and computer industry standards and protocols, but it allows for easy database alterations and implementation of new functionality and modules. Now, the assessment of Unicorn by the directors was very interesting. Although they are happy with the cataloging, acquisitions, and circulations and serials modules of Unicorn, they are not at all happy with the OPAC module. Unfortunately, students and professors have complained about the search results for the keyword and browse searches. The director decided to do a little research of her own, and she decided that she was going to search dog within the keyword searches. Now, she's expecting that she'll find something like maybe sounder or maybe information on how to care for your dog. Unfortunately, she received a host of results that had absolutely nothing to do with dog, and she could not understand for the life of her how those results came about. Now, Some of the things that they've considered to combat the OPAC issues are upgrading to the ILS GL 3.2.1, which Circe Dynix has rebranded as Symphony. This new ILS will communicate with Web 2, which is the current OPAC interface. The problem with updating to Symphony currently is that in the next few years, Symphony will need to be reconfigured to work with eLibrary, which will be the new OPAC interface of NC-PALS. Drew McNaughton actually had an idea of altering the current ILS codes. He advised the directors to log searches and results so that he can better understand the results that they're getting. If he's able to understand why certain searches yield specific results, he'll be able to go in, modify the codes, and modify the search results. Some of the other issues that come along with dealing with an updated system is, of course, OPAC dissatisfaction. Circe Dynix is the creator of Unicorn and also the creator of Symphony. Unfortunately, even with the new system, the directors have lost faith in the current OPAC features and are fearful of upgrading within Circe Dynix's family of programs. Funds was also an issue that frequently came up. With thousands of dollars invested in the current ILS, directors want and students need good OPAC interfaces. As many of you know, whether cataloging or whether acquisitions work well, it is so important for OPAC interfaces to work well, as students and professors, our users, have to know what information we have. They have to be willing to find materials and locate the materials. And with technology being as important as it is now, with databases and journal articles, we have to ensure that OPAC interfaces are working correctly. Another issue is Web 2 end of life, which is an EOL. Although Circe Dynix has not stated a Web 2 EOL, there has been some talk that this will be happening pretty soon. And unfortunately, if an EOL does occur, there will be no company support should EOL occur. This is a big issue as Drew is currently the only staff specifically for the consortium's OPAC needs. One of the questions that came up during my interview was, why not consider an open source ILS? One issue was staff considerations. While each college is small, none have an IT staff dedicated specifically to the needs of their respective libraries. Drew is the only staff member in the library IT department, and I put this in quotations because, again, none of the libraries has a library IT department for their needs. Another issue with going with open source are funds. Although open source is free, the directors and Drew fear that hiring staff for IT support would be a necessity, but would unfortunately outweigh the cost of utilizing a proprietary system that does have built-in support. There were a number of things that I learned from this interview and from this project. The first is that OPAC modules are more important than other interfaces as it directly addresses customers' information needs. Customers will not complain about our cataloging interface. They will not complain about our acquisitions interface. But they will complain if they are unable to find materials that they know we do have or should have, or if they are just getting, inadequate or irrelevant results when they're conducting keyword and browse searches. The second thing that I learned is that library IT staff is a necessity. A general IT staff is great, but the library has various and specific needs that require specialized and immediate attention. We have to have that staff that can come in, that can look at those results, that can change codes, that can implement new software. We have to have that library staff. Lastly, I learned that funds are important and there is no way that you can get around it. Of course, I decided that, why not go with an open source system? But I realized that even with open source systems like proprietary systems, money is going to be a factor because, again, libraries have to ensure that customers, our students, our staff, our professors are getting the information that they need. Now, this page is dedicated to some references, some further reading if you guys decide that you want to read more about open source, you want to read more about proprietary systems. This page is for you all. I thank you all for being here today and listening to my presentation. I do hope that you enjoyed. Have a good evening.